All right. All right. So welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy to have you all here. Today I'm going to talk about meal planning, meal prepping, tips and tricks, how to do all that stuff, how to save time and money, snacks, meal ideas, dessert ideas, um, all kinds of stuff in between, substitutions. So get out a pen. If you guys don't have a pen, go get a pen right now. I'm going to be giving you several different recipes today, so you might want to write a few of those down. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm eating the same thing over and over again. Well, it's not because we don't have recipes in the book. There's hundreds of recipes in the book. There's lots and lots. And if you get tired of all those, the closest thing that would follow our program would be paleo. So if you want to Google paleo breakfast, paleo snacks, paleo lunch or dinner ideas, those recipes will not call for anything bread, crumbs, or gluten. They will not call for any dairy or cheese. Um, they will not call for sugar substitutes other than the natural ones. So it's really as similar to our program as possible. So that would be your best bet. So I would encourage you guys to do at least one new recipe a month. And that's minimum, because once you make something once or twice, you guys will have it, you'll get it, you'll know it, and then you'll have one more tool in your tool belt. Ideally, if you can take one a week, one new idea, one new recipe a week, and run for the hills and go for it, you will have so many tools in your tool belt. If you're showing up to these calls and making new recipes, there's just so many recipes in our book. I wanted to start off with a few shout outs. We got Linda. She's brand new, brand new. She's down 16 pounds. Mary, she says she has no more joint pain. She's off of her BP meds and very likely going to be off of her cholesterol. Marianne, her knee pain is gone, and she's really, really excited about her results in the program. She's just finishing up, and she's really excited. She feels good. Her joint pain is fabulous, and she is only 10 pounds from her goal. So go, Marianne. Awesome to you. I do have some welcomes. Got a lot of new people. Laura, Antonella, Donna, Leanne, Carmen, Linda, Brooke, Shannon, Nicole, Jody, Kimberly, Amy, and Barbara. So welcome to all of you. All right, so I am going to get started unless anybody has any questions out of the gate. If you have any dogs or kids or background TV sounds, go ahead and mute yourself. If you have a question, we've got a small group today. I think people must be on vacation still. But go ahead and unmute and interrupt me and ask a question. I teach this a lot, so sometimes because I know the information, I may miss a good piece of information. So I may have skipped a piece. If you feel like I'm missing a piece, just ask me and I'll fill you in. There are no, I repeat, no dumb questions. So, and if you've ever watched any of these lives, you know I love, love, love questions. So bring them on. All right, so starting with meal planning and getting ready to go to the grocery store. First of all, I recommend that you get some kind of notebook. I don't care what kind of notebook, but I recommend this because I want you to write down the things that you're making. So say for this week, you made a pot of chili and it turned out really good and you really like that. And then last week you made a nice chicken stew. And then before that, you made a wonderful seafood soup or something like that. Whatever you made, write all these down. And the reason why this is going to serve you is because sometimes you get stymied. Like, for example, when I'm trying to come up with ideas for these weekly Wednesday Zoom calls, I'm like, now what can I talk about? I feel like I've talked about everything. I'm talking about the same thing over and over again. But I finally, after about a year, got really, really smart. And now I keep track of what topics I have and I date them so I know when I spoke on that topic so that I can recycle that same topic every 3 months at least. But I would forget if I didn't write them down. So if you guys go back and you're like, oh, I don't know what to have. And then you go back and you look at your list and I'm like, oh, I forgot about my favorite chili recipe. I love that chili. or that white chili or that enchiladas, stew or whatever it was. Writing them down will just make your life so much easier. Another thing, I would say double all of your recipes. Make twice as much, as long as you know you like it, but make twice as much. Have some for this week and then freeze the rest. Freeze the rest. Make sure you have the right glass containers, but freeze the rest. That way, in about 2 or 3 or 4 weeks from now, you recycle. So I will meal prep my routine. And if you can get yourself on a routine, that would be ideal. For me, it's on Sundays. I meal prep on Sundays. So I'll double my recipes. I'll make twice as much whatever I'm making. So I'll have some for this week, and then I put the rest in a container and freeze it. So in about 3 weeks from now, I'll pull it out. Plus, I'll have what my new thing that I made on Sunday. So I'll have a frozen one and a fresh one, but that's 2 different meals that I can work off of throughout this next coming week. So that way you're cycling. And I didn't have to make that one dish but one time. So I'm using chili as an example, but if I made a big thing of chili for this week and then for 3 weeks from now, I don't have to make it again. Plus all the dishes that I washed making that pot of chili, I don't have to wash them again either. So that'll save you some time. So make double or triple your recipes and freeze half of it. So there's that. Meal prep, some tools that you will need. Really important tools. You will need an ice cube tray. Why? So when I use my coconut milk, sometimes I use it for my popsicles or for my shakes or for a recipe, and I don't use it all. I will put it in my ice cube tray, put it in the freezer, and then when I need to make another shake or more popsicles, I can pop out a couple of my coconut milk ice cubes, and now I have that coconut milk. I don't have to throw it away. It's a great way to save money. Sometimes we don't use that whole can. So, and another thing you can use this with is if you buy or grow your own fresh herbs. If you have fresh herbs, I don't know if I buy the basil. I love basil. In a fresh basil in a salad is delicious. Fresh basil topped on my Italian stew is delicious. But do I use it all? Or cilantro? I almost never use all of that. So what you can do is cut it up, put it in your ice cube trays, put a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil in it, and freeze it. Then you can take it out, throw it in the pan, and it's ready to go. And you're not throwing away. Those fresh herbs are really, really expensive. So this will save you a lot of time, or a lot of money, I should say. So I hate to throw anything away, and this will be a way to not do it. And that would go for anything else that you have a little too much of. If you're doing your cleanse and you make too much lemon juice, freeze it for the next round. You know you're going to use lemon juice for something, even if you use it for cooking, or you just throw it in a glass of water. Now you have lemon water. But either way, lemon juice only lasts 2 or 3 days in the fridge. This will prevent you from having to throw it away. Some other very, 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 very important tools are your containers. These come in all different sizes and shapes. I have the rectangles, I have the rounds, I have the squares, but they're glass. I really want you to get the glass. I don't care if it's a plastic top. The food touches the glass. The food typically doesn't touch the top. So that's really important piece. And you can meal prep any way you want. You can put you can get them all the same size and then just do 6 or 7 meals for that week with, say, your chicken and your broccoli and your brown rice or whatever for times 6 or 7. For me, I keep them separate because I may not want all 4 of those things or all 3 of those things in one sitting. I might want to just have a little bit of my brown rice or a little bit of chicken or a little bit of broccoli as a snack. Personally, for me, I keep them all in separate containers. But that's just how I roll. If it's easier for you to grab your lunch and go, because if you're running to work, then that's easier for you. So that's a staple, is having your containers. This is another staple. If you're doing meal prep and you're chopping up, say, celery sticks or carrot sticks, put them in jars like this and then fill it up with water. They will last so much longer. They will last so much longer. Your immersion blender is also a staple. I make my mashed cauliflower with this. When you do bring legumes back, beans, you can, if you're making a soup, you can puree some legumes in your soup to thicken it. You can also puree your winter squash or your yams with this. Um, the mashed cauliflower is great with this. I also make my own salad dressings with this. So I'll add my olive oil or avocado oil, vinegar, water, whatever the recipe calls for, different herbs, tarragon, sometimes a grapefruit goes nice in there, very refreshing. And this goes on here and it emulsifies it. So it really blends the oil and the vinegar really well. As you guys know, the approved salad dressings are very spendy. And with prices in grocery stores these days, making your own salad dressing, plus you can make it as garlicky as you want or not so garlic or spicy as you want, however you like it. So it might even be better for many reasons, including saving money, to make your own. And this immersion blender, you can do so many things. Pureed sweet potatoes or yams, really good. Like a dessert, guys, really, really good. Oh, and then the mandolin, kind of hard too. This is my little chopper thing. This I do probably once every 4, 6, or even 8 weeks, but there's different things. So I'll get an onion, bell pepper, carrots, celery, and then I chop them up and then I freeze them. So that way it's easy peasy. So once every 6 weeks is pretty much how often I do that. So if you go to Amazon and put in mandolin for the kitchen chopper, you're going to find all kinds. I don't think it's more than 20 bucks. It will save you so much time. And so if you say, for example, you're getting, your recipe calls for a little bit of onion, you put the other half of the onion in, or the celery, you put it in your crisper, or the bell pepper, you put it in your fridge, 3, 4, 5 weeks later, we throw it out. Instead, we chop it up and I put it in baggies and put it in the freezer. Now, every time I make a recipe, I already have chopped bell pepper. I already have chopped onion. I already have chopped celery and carrots, which are primarily, what does every recipe start with? It's usually onions and most of those other things. So that's going to save you a boatload of time and money. Boatload of time and money. And you only have to wash that thing once. So once I start chopping my carrot, anything, I'll find everything else I can chop and just save my time doing that. All right. So, all right. So some staples that I think are super important to have in the house. I really love, love, love my Chosen Foods avocado spray. You're trying to keep your calories down. This matters. I put this cooking spray, cook my eggs, and it's virtually no calories. Is there some calories? Yes. It'll tell you 0, but it depends on how much you spray. It's still avocado oil, which is calorie dense, but it's great, and it's great for high heat cooking. I'm not a fan of cooking with olive oil or the PAM or those other things. It's all chemicals. But olive oil is not good for high heat. It's good for tossing. It's good for your body. It's just not good for high heat. Another staple, I like enchilada sauce. It's an instant I call it gourmet, but you can turn a pound of ground beef into a Mexican dish. You can do the red sauce into spaghetti, like a spaghetti sauce. This is a no sugar added spaghetti sauce. You can put it into a cream sauce using your coconut milk. These are staples you should always have in your pantry. Another staple I never go without is rice cauliflower, because that can turn into a fried rice, a 2-minute side dish. It takes almost no time to make, but you can buy that organic in the frozen section at Costco. You can make it yourself, but it's so much easier to buy it pre-riced, just done like that. Keeping extra frozen vegetables in your freezer. That way because if your veggies went bad, you thought you had something left and it went a little slimy on you, you always have a vegetable. Always have protein in there in your fridge or your freezer. I always have frozen chicken, sometimes frozen shrimp, I have my frozen wild caught cod. I usually have turkey patties in there, but there's always going to be a protein. Primarily, I'm looking to put protein and veggies on my plate at every meal. You guys know the more veggies we eat, the leaner we get. So anytime we can add more veggies to our meals, life is good, right? So when I already have my chopped onions or I already have chopped bell peppers, easy peasy. If I'm just making an egg in the morning, I can throw those in the frying pan, and now I've added onion and bell pepper to my egg dish, and now I've added more vegetables and a whole lot of flavor, and it makes the house smell good. Some other staples, canned chicken breast and canned tuna. Those are, staples to have. Some of the things that you can do with that, you can make chicken salad or tuna salad. Also, making an egg salad would be a great snack. You can put chicken salad, tuna salad, egg salad on a celery boat. You can put it on a slice of a cucumber, and you can also, these are so good, these little sweet peppers. They usually come in a bag. I don't know, there's 6 or 8 or something like that in a bag, and they're small little peppers, but they're sweet. You hollow them out, you scoop out the seeds, and you can stuff them. You can stuff them with your chicken salad, with your tuna salad, or with your egg salad, or with the coconut. Here's another substitute. Where'd it go? Here's a yogurt substitute, dairy-free, no sugar added. All right. This is something you can put ranch mix in here. You can season this any way you want, like an onion dip, any way you want, and you can stuff those little peppers with it. Those make a nice little snack. And also curry. You can take those 3 things: egg salad, chicken salad, tuna salad. I've never tried it with tuna salad, but chicken salad or egg salad, adding some curry to it. Talk about a pop. It's so delicious and so good. Again, putting it on your celery boats or your sliced cucumber, or stuff your little peppers with it. Now, that being said, say I did want to do those celery boats, but I'm not going to eat a ton of them. Now I have all that leftover celery. This is the time to chop it up and freeze it for that recipe down the road. That way we throw nothing away. Okay, but adding curry or any spices, really, you guys, you can really add cayenne, you can add anything, garlic, anything that makes you happy. Some more snacks. There's dang coconut chips. Hard-boiled eggs are simple and easy. Everybody knows how to make those primarily. Otherwise, if you're like me and forget, you can ask Google. Olives, green or black. Pickles are fine. Kale chips or Brussels sprout chips. Brussels sprout chips are really, really easy to make. Maybe not in the summer because you got to turn your oven on. But you just cut off the ends and break off the leaves, and then you toss them in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I would probably suggest avocado oil. You could add garlic to that, salt and pepper, whatever seasonings you like, and put it in a 400-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Those make a crunchy snack. Kale chips, probably we could do the same thing, but you can also buy those too. Turkey jerky, no sugar added. Make sure it's no sugar added. If it doesn't say no sugar added, I can almost guarantee you guys jerkies have added sugars. So look for the 0 sugar added turkey jerkies. Eventually, if you decide to bring red meat back in, same thing, beef jerky, get the no sugar added. These yogurts make a nice snack. You can sweeten those any way you want. Some sweeteners that I love and use: stevia. There's monk fruit, which I just don't happen to have, but I use stevia packets, or I use stevia. This is when I'm baking. Another sweetener that I love, 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 and I used it today, and I'm going to show you what I used it for. The Swerve. This is a primarily like a erythritol, but this is a brown sugar, and it is delicious. So if the sugar alcohols don't bother you, I definitely recommend this for your baking. Before you blink, holidays will be here. We've got to find substitutions. This is a lifestyle, so it doesn't mean we never can have anything sweet. It just means we got to find different ways than we grew up with how to make things sweet. Agave syrup, that's a good way it's a honey substitute. And then also a favorite of mine is the Lakanto maple syrup. Now, this is not to be confused with the maple syrup that you use for your lemon mix. That's got to be 100% pure maple syrup, not this no sugar added one. But this is only 10 calories, so this is a great substitute. All right, so what I did today, I made a couple of things. So I made a protein pancake because I was trying to find ways to make a sandwich. And so I used, what did I use? We talked about this yesterday on the group call, because the protein pancake Dr. Infantino shares with us is a scoop of your protein powder and 1 egg, and then maybe a pinch of salt if you like. And then you just stir that up and you can make pancakes with that. You can also make waffles with it. But what if you didn't want it to be sweet? So I thought, well, if you add just a plain protein powder. Well, I didn't have any plain protein powder, but what I did have was collagen powder with no flavors. So I did that and it actually worked out fine. However, I made this so early this morning, it's cold and it's not as appealing. So if you make this and want to use it as like a sandwich, like a wrap, or a way to eat your chicken salad or your egg salad or your tuna salad, this would be perfect. You can even make it a little taco if you wanted, but I would say make it fresh because it's about 4 hours old and it's whatever. This, get your pens out. You're going to want this recipe. So this is 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 whole egg. Now I did use agave syrup and I just did a squeeze, so maybe a tablespoon, and I also added a tablespoon of butter. Oh, and then I added this, and I put some raisins in it. If you're not having fruit yet, that doesn't come back till at least week 3 or 4, don't put raisins in it. But this made it absolutely bomb. It was so good. I had to eat it right then and there. You could do lots of things with this. First of all, you could eat it just how it is when it's still warm. Oh, by the way, I just make it in a coffee cup. So you put all the ingredients in a coffee cup, mix it really, really well. It doesn't mix very well, so you have to mix it for a minute. And then you microwave it for 90 seconds. I did not grease this thing and it came right out. So super, super easy. But I swear it was just like a cinnamon roll. It was so sweet and delicious. You could have it with your cup of tea or your cup of tea-chino. Tea-chino is your coffee substitute. So if you're having an afternoon snack, there's no caffeine in this. Your tea-chino, that would go great with this. Cup of coffee, your coffee substitute. Another thing you could do with this, I could slice it, make it a little bit thinner. I could dip it in an egg batter and make a French toast with it. I could frost it. I could turn it into a cupcake and frost it. Wait, what? Frosting? Yes, frosting is back. If you wanted to make a chocolate frosting, you take a little bit of cacao to taste. I would start with maybe a half avocado, a nice ripe one that you can mash. And then I would say a little bit of sweetener like stevia and mix all those together to make like a frosting consistency, and then top this like a cupcake, and you would literally have a cupcake. Oh, I also added cinnamon, which made it seem like a cinnamon roll. I forgot cinnamon and vanilla. And the vanilla, I just put maybe a teaspoon. So super easy, but it was sweet and delicious. I almost couldn't stop myself, but I had to save the other half of it for today's show. But it was so good, hot out of the thing. It did fall apart. However, I did notice that I bought medium-sized eggs rather than the jumbo-sized eggs. So that might have been the reason why it fell apart. But I didn't care because it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. So that's either an afternoon snack idea. Did I miss any snack ideas? All right, so dessert ideas. Baked apple, you can get a little tool like this, one of these tools, to slice your apple, and you put it in the oven, put maybe a couple of tablespoons of water. I will, maybe, depending on the apple, I might add a little bit of stevia. I would add a little bit of cinnamon. You wanted to go wild, you could add some brown sugar to it. And you bake it at 450. Where's my numbers? Where'd it go? 450. Sorry, baked apple, 350 for 15 minutes for one apple. And that's a dessert you could bring to a party. You can serve that on Thanksgiving. And it's crustless apple pie basically, but it's once you get to the fruit portion where you're allowing fruit, it's delicious. It can make a nice snack. It can make a nice dessert. And you feel like you're cheating. I feel like you feel like you're cheating, but you are not. So there's lots of ways. You can take your walnuts, your nuts, and throw a little bit of vanilla extract in the baggie and mix it up so they're all kind of moist. And you can throw some cinnamon. You could throw a little monk fruit in there or a little bit of stevia. Make them sweet, make them cinnamony. That will make a nice snack. You want to keep your nuts in a quarter cup a serving max. So that's another snack. The ice cream or popsicles. Popsicles. So the So Delicious ice cream, you want to go for the teal or turquoise lid because there's no sugar added. This is a sometimes food because there's other ingredients. I would encourage you to wait till at least 6 weeks because I want you to eat as clean as possible that first 6 weeks because we're healing the gut. And this is a popsicle mold, and all I did was I made my protein powder, I chocolate, or made this one actually is vanilla, but chocolate is really good because now you got fudgesicles. And then I add my coconut milk to it that I took from, these frozen pieces of coconut milk that I used from yesterday's pudding. Oh, that's right, I got pudding too. That way I don't have to open up another can. I saved myself some money. So those are some snacks there. So the popsicles, you can play with those too. I will tell you those popsicles, the way those popsicle molds are, they do taste like the freezer if they're in there more than a week. So either pop them out after they're frozen and baggy them, or get the kind of popsicle molds where you put the top on it and it's completely surrounded, if that makes any sense. Just because it'll taste a little bit like the freezer if you don't, or if you don't baggy them right away. So that's just my tip on that. Oh, and my coconut pudding. This one I made yesterday. Oh, this was so good. So good. So it's almost the consistency of gelatin, but it's very pudding-like. It even kind of has like a top. Like you remember when mom back in the day used to make chocolate pudding and there was like the skin on top? It almost has that. Not quite, but almost. So that calls for 1 can of, and this time I used the light. The first time I did it, I used the heavy, and it's really a lot of calories. A lot. And it's delicious enough. I could have eaten this whole thing if I didn't stop myself. Oh, good. Rhonda's joined. Kim has joined. Welcome, welcome. All right. So the recipe for the pudding is, you guys can see that. Coconut milk. So you'll take 1/4 cup of the coconut milk, a tablespoon of beef gelatin powder, and then mix those two together. I used this to whisk, and it gets to be almost like a thick paste. Then you set that aside. You take the rest of your coconut milk, and then you take your cacao powder or cocoa powder, whichever one you have, no sugar added, of course. A tablespoon of that. I did a teaspoon of vanilla, and I believe I added probably a tablespoon of blue agave, the agave syrup, and I added only 1 packet of stevia. That's what I added. And then you're putting that, and you got to mix it really, really well. So you got to mix it, because the cocoa powder takes a while to actually get wet, if that makes any sense. So you bring that to a boil, a slight boil, and then you add the first dish back in there. You mix it really well, and then you put it in your dish. You refrigerate it for 30 minutes uncovered, and then cover it and refrigerate it for 2 more hours, and it's ready. And I think the recipe said it will last several days in your fridge if you got the willpower, because I'm telling you, that was delicious. And the recipe also suggested that if you don't like coconut, the more cocoa powder you add, the less you taste the coconut. You don't taste the coconut, and it gets more chocolatey. And cocoa powder, or cacao even, it has a lot of health benefits. It's high in magnesium, iron, fiber, and it has antioxidants, and it boosts your feel-good hormones. So definitely recommend that.
Hi, Tammy. Tammy, real quick about the amount of coconut milk, because I heard the 1/4 cup, but how much are you adding? Is it the rest of the can after that?
Yes, almost the rest of the can. The recipe did call for the rest can, but I wanted it to be a little bit. I wanted to save a little bit of the coconut milk for something else, so I saved a little bit and I put it in the freezer in my ice cube tray.
Okay. Okay. That's a vegetarian.
Pardon me?
I was trying to read what she put in the chat.
Oh yeah, so gelatin, I believe, is only coming from bovine. So I don't know what would thicken it. Oh, perhaps what you could do, I got it. Chia seeds. Although I don't think you would have to heat it. I think if you did your coconut milk, I would have to Google a recipe for that, but like a chia seed pudding, same ingredients, your coconut milk, your cacao, your sweetener. You could add cinnamon, you could add vanilla, you could add an almond extract. You could add any of the extracts that you like. You could make it kind of a lemon pudding. Oh, she liked that idea. Okay, good. But yeah, there's chia puddings out there, and that'll thicken it right up. If you're making your own salad dressing, I sometimes add the gelatin to that. If I'm trying to go lower fat and do less oil, if I'm planning to put nuts and avocados in my salad, for example, I might want to kind of calm down on the fat that I put in my salad dressing. I'll put gelatin in my salad dressing. But if you want to go, what I did originally was I did chia seeds, but it takes almost overnight to thicken it, whereas the gelatin will thicken it in just like 10 minutes when it's just cold. But the gelatin is very handy, but if you're vegan, chia seeds will thicken. The gelatin does not thicken anything. Once you warm it, it will go watery again. So it won't thicken like a sauce, like a gravy. But if you're planning to cool something like a pudding or a salad dressing, it will definitely thicken it. So it's a good, and gelatin is good for your hair, skin, and nails, and very good for your gut health and healing the gut too. So there's good benefits to it as well. I used to sell that in my vitamin store. And it says pure protein on it. So yeah, but vegan substitute would be chia. Good question. Oh, it looks like there's more chats. Where's chat? Oh, oh, I guess I got it. Desserts, I think we covered that. Drinks, you can have, oh, I forgot to pull it out. This is one of my favorite things. One of my clients brought to my attention, she asked me, is vitamin water okay? And I was pretty sure the answer was no. I said, because I'm pretty sure they're sweetened with sucralose. And I said, but just depends on the ingredients. Well, she came back and she said it was sweetened with monk fruit and or stevia. So check your ingredients first before you just blindly grab it off the shelf. But if the sweeteners are monk fruit or stevia or both or whatever, then there's another fun sweet need to eat drink. Zevia, that's one of my favorites. It's a soda, but guys, it's just basically a soda, but it's compliant with this program. So it's just, and I find this at Sprouts. I'm sure you could find it at Whole Foods or a health food store of some kind. This one's the creamy root beer. They come in grape, they come in Dr. Pepper, they come in cola, they come in grape, root beer. This one's creamy root beer. I like the creamy one way better. There's the other root beer, ginger root beer, which is more gingery. It's not as creamy. This has more vanilla. Oh, they have cream soda. So good. So good. So yeah, you can also have naturally caffeine-free herbal teas. Those are good as long as it's naturally caffeine-free, like mint or those like peach tea, peppermint, chamomile, cinnamon, ginger teas. Those are all fine. You can make iced teas with them. Why not? You can still sweeten them. Why not? Life's too short to eat bad food. And I would love, love, love for this to become a lifestyle for you. So, yeah, the more fun things that we can enjoy, the better off we are. The more we're going to stick with this. And it's been my mission, absolute mission. How can I have chocolate? Well, we can add this to pretty much anything, and now it's chocolatey. How can I have tacos? Well, we can make things like this. You can fold up a lettuce. There's jicama wraps. There's the cauliflower egg wraps. They fall apart a little easier, but it's a start. It's something. Once you're done with your first 12 weeks, there's Ezekiel tortillas, which are sprouted, which are lower glycemic and delicious. You can even get them crispy if you put them in the frying pan. What else? Any other questions? Oh, pasta substitute. I forgot to mention that one. I think that was the only one. It's skinny. There's also one called Palmini, 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 or this one. And it's already cooked. So just make your sauce, put it in the pan with the sauce, drain it first because it's in water. Drain it, and it's already done. And it's low carb, almost no calories. So, all right. So that's what I have for you today. Does anybody have any other questions?
I have a question, Tami.
Yes.
Hi. Um, Pizza. Do you like, I don't know if I've missed any like comments about this, but like that's like my total love food. And I know obviously the breads and everything are not going to be okay. But do you have any suggestions to get kind of like a pizza-like experience?
Um, I have tried making a cauliflower pizza crust at
Hmm.
home. And if you like to eat your pizza with a spoon,
Yeah,
it tasted good, but it was no way I could pick it up
true.
and eat it like a pizza.
That's
I
okay.
would
I'm actually
say,
kind of a fork and knife person, so like that.
yeah, so
So
maybe
like the
something
cauliflower
like
pizza crust.
the protein pancake. If you use you would have to use your vegan protein powder that's a vegan protein powder that's unflavored because you don't want a
Mhm.
vanilla or a
Right.
chocolate. I used collagen, which is not vegan. Um, oh, there's a recipe that we have that's on eggplant. So you would put like
Oh,
your spaghetti sauce on it. You can top it with bell peppers and mushrooms, onions, things like that you would
mhm.
normally put on a pizza.
That's a good idea.
Um,
Those are a couple good ideas. I'll
and
try
that's
the
a knife and fork that
yeah,
they still come out soft, so you're not going to be able to pick it up and eat it like you would a regular pizza.
that's okay. I will try your suggestion of the protein pancake and I'll report back.
Yes, please tell me how it
Okay.
works.
All right,
This
thank you.
just seems so unappealing to me right now. But this
Well,
morning,
maybe
because
if you
I
smother
did
it
eat,
as a pizza, it'll be
what's
better.
that?
Maybe if you smother it in pizza stuff, it'll be better.
Yeah, and if I warmed it, if I put it back in the pan because it was kind of crispy, now it's just limpy. And I did cook it with a little bit of avocado oil, so which kind of gets it crispy, but now
Hmm.
it's not that because it's been sitting out for hours.
Totally.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Anybody else have any ideas that they've come up with that I have not?
Have you ever seen Miracle Noodle?
Yes. Yes, that's good. Read, I think
Okay,
that's going to be made with konjac flour.
it is.
Yeah. So I would say at least 6 weeks in, just so we're not having anything processed. The palm mini is made with hearts of palm, so it's
Yeah,
vegetable. But
yeah, it has.
yeah, don't throw that away. That's keep that around. It's basically where'd it go? It's same thing as this one. Primary, it's the same ingredient for the most part, but it's super, super, super low carb. Yeah, good question. Anybody have any questions about anything not related to food or kitchen hacks? Or, I mean, if you're having an exercise question or a supplements question or a struggle, you can certainly, if you're not too shy, we can hash it out here. Obviously, you guys know you're entitled to some one-on-ones, so you can, or you can email me questions anytime, of course. But if there's something simple you want to ask, this is the forum to do it if you have one.
I noticed in one of the going through the courses, um, Dr. Infantino suggested the wild Alaskan salmon oil.
As a supplement, yeah.
Yes. Is there a time that you should be doing that, or should you wait a certain amount of time, or do it
No,
anytime?
start that now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I take a fish oil every day. I take an omega-3 every single day just because it's an anti-inflammatory, that by itself, but it's also kind of need my heart and I kind of need my brain. It's really good for your heart and your brain as well. It's got a good level of EPA and is it DHA, the other omega-3. If you're
Yeah.
vegan, you're going to have to do flaxseed, which is uh, ALA, I believe. It's the one that starts with an A. Um, so that's a good omega-3.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else?
Going back to the sweetener options, I have something in my pantry called allulose. It's like a syrup. Are you familiar with that?
It's newer for actually, I don't know a ton about it, even though it ends in OSE, which makes it
Mhm.
like a sugar substitute, and it
Mhm.
is. I believe that one's a good one, and I believe that
Okay.
one's low glycemic, and I believe that's not a problem. So I think
Okay.
it's probably in the same category as something like agave syrup.
Okay, cool. If it
Mhm.
wasn't good, is there anything that I would like, or like wasn't good for me? Is there anything that I would know to look for as like a trigger or a sign?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question. Like what sweeteners are bad?
Well, you said it's like newer, and so maybe isn't as
Well,
commonly recommended, but
I say that newer. I used to own a vitamin store and I closed up shop in 2018, something like that. But in that from 2015 to 2018, I'm learning all this stuff about different products, different supplements, different things. And then these, another round of protein bars coming, I had sales reps come in all the time, try to get me to carry their stuff. And then they came out with these protein bars that were sweetened with allulose. And I'm like, oh, great. They gave me another sweetener that, it's just this made up thing. And what are they basically, what are you trying to trick me with now? Kind of.
yeah.
And that was kind of my take on it. But it's been around now. It's been floating around. I haven't done a lot of study on it, but from what I
Okay.
have learned, it is on the thumbs up list. Dr.
Okay.
Infantino's stuff, the things he recommends has some allulose in it. So I'm gonna
Okay.
go with the allulose is fine, but sucralose, which is like a
Mhm.
Splenda, is not, because those are
Okay.
chemical you know, they're the problem child. The
Okay.
aspartame, saccharin, sucralose, that stuff. That sort of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I got a big old mess in my kitchen for you guys. One more day. Anybody else? If you're on the Facebook Live, I don't know if you can type something if you have a question. I don't know if I'll be able to see it or not, but anyway, yeah, so thank you guys all for coming. I really, really appreciate your participation and your comments, just showing up, and I love the questions as always. If you have any other questions, you just let me know. Otherwise, I will say good afternoon.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.